Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Breakdown once again. So, today we are going to do the RCB versus CSK post match review. I mean, good match so far. I mean, CSK somehow beat RCB as usual, and 16 years streak is going to continue. Obviously, RCB can never beat CSK at Chepauk. They are the only team that not beaten CSK at Chepauk. I think it's the longest streak ever for a team that can't beat another opponent. So we have Rahul all the way from USA, CSK fan joining us from USA, and we have Varun also all the way from USA, who's SRH fan though, but we'll be discussing the SRH preview soon. So, but we'll get both people's thoughts. All right, Rahul, let's begin with you. Comfortable win for CSK. Mustafizur surprised all of us with his performance. He was not supposed to play also if Patirana was fit, but he has proved everyone wrong in this match. So, thoughts, let's talk about the first innings. Do you think 173 was enough at Chepauk? Seeing how the CSK batters are and how good they are. So, your thoughts on that?
Mm, Actually, I thought RCB could have troubled CSK with a target with a total of 173 on the board. It was actually a decent effort to get to that 173 runs because at one point they were like 78 for 5 or something. And at that point, you were thinking, okay, this is the usual. They will collapse, they will get all out, and they'll be all out by 120, 130, I thought. But Dinesh Karthik and Anuj Rawat, they played really well and they took the total to 173. So RCB really had hope with that total, and the pitch wasn't exactly the easiest to bat on either. So there was
Yeah.
a certain amount of hope for RCB. Credit to Mustafizur because his strength is this Chepauk pitch suits his strengths. He likes to bowl very slowly, the slow off cutters, and that works on the Chepauk surface. And he managed to get four
Yeah.
wickets with that and pull things back after the start that Faf du Plessis gave. Virat Kohli was
Yeah.
very rusty today, I have to say. He never really got going, and I think part of the reason for that is because although Faf du Plessis was giving CSK a very good start and all that, Virat Kohli was not getting much of the strike during that partnership.
Mm.
So the rest started
Yeah.
to show, and then when wickets started falling, then Virat Kohli cannot really go for attacking shots and try to be himself. He tried to do that. He tried hitting a few balls in the air, and finally
Mm.
that got him out. He was not able to get his timing at all today. And then after that,
Mm.
there was a collapse, and it took Anuj Rawat and Dinesh Karthik scoring to get them that total of 173. But it was a decent score on the board. I thought at the halfway point, I wouldn't say RCB had an advantage, but it was 50-50 at least.
Yeah.
And
Agree.
they all,
At least they recovered from the collapse. At least they recovered from the collapse that
absolutely.
they were in.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Agree.
And in the run chase, I thought, for most of it, yeah, CSK was ahead in the run chase, but RCB had a small glimmer of hope at 110 for 4. At that point, at 110 for 4, they had some hope. Like, I won't say they had an advantage, but they had like a 50% chance of winning the match. If they could get one or two more wickets at that point, then they would have had CSK in a lot of trouble. But they could not break that partnership. Credit to Shivam Dubey and Ravindra Jadeja for that partnership. Dubey was really struggling
Yeah.
today. It was definitely not a vintage Dubey performance by any means
Yeah.
because uh,
Definitely.
Alzari Joseph and Cameron Green, they were troubling him with short pitched bowling in the middle overs. Even Daryl Mitchell, after hitting Karan Sharma for two sixers, was struggling to pick the short pitched ball, and finally he got out to Cameron Green. Same thing with Rahane, got
Yeah.
out to short pitched bowling. So
Mm.
Dubey and Jadeja really took this home for CSK. Rachin Ravindra, great start up front, 37 off 15 balls. I think he really set the tone, and maybe you could argue that's really where RCB lost the match because once Rachin Ravindra gave that start, CSK was already always ahead in the run chase. They never fell behind the required rate at any point in the match. Maybe few
Yeah.
quite overs were there here and there, but they kept up with it throughout the innings. So overall, it
Hmm.
was a clinical batting performance, you have to say.
Yeah, let's come to Varun. So Varun, first of all, talk about the CSK playing 11. We thought that Shardul Thakur, we thought Mukesh Chowdhury, they will play. And we saw Samir Rizvi playing for the first time. We saw Tushar Deshpande getting the chance, even though, Mukesh Chowdhury has recovered from his injury. And we know last season how Tushar Deshpande was conceding a lot of runs, and we saw that today even. So your thoughts towards the playing 11 of CSK?
See, it's still the first game. Basically, for the first at least 10 or 15 games, the teams play around what 2 or 3 games, and that's where they
Yeah,
try to see which player actually does fit into their lineup, right? So this might have
yeah,
just worked out. This is still the first game. I would like to consider this as a practice game because it's against RCB. Okay, they won pretty. They won it comfortably. I can say it's their home ground. No one can beat them in
yeah,
their home ground unless it is CSK 2.0. Okay, so I think this is
yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
pretty good lineup. I think we expected Samir
Yeah.
Rizvi anyway because there had to be someone in place for Ambati Ride,
Mm,
right? You needed an
mm,
Indian player in
agree.
that spot, and in comes Samir Rizvi. He did not get a chance, but
Mm,
at least he has, CSK does have that player to fill in that type of role. A good aggressor who can also provide the spin option. Now that's an extra option that they have that they did not have in Raidu,
yeah.
right? And talking about the
Yeah.
bowling options, you said like Sharul Thakur and Mukesh. See, I would say that Tushar Deshpande is somewhat similar to Shardul Thakur in the bowling arena, not batting but just bowling, because they might go
Yeah.
for runs, but they do have the knack of picking up wickets, right? CSK
Yes.
already have the
Yeah.
batting depth. Maybe that's why they did not go with Shardul Thakur. They don't really require him. I think you can say they kept him as a backup for either of Samir Rizvi or Deepak Chahar, or else I don't think they're gonna use him up front in the lineup. So he is a expensive bowler, but he can take wickets. Those two, right? So they went with
Mm,
Tushar this time around because he can also contribute in the depth. We haven't seen much of Shardul
yes.
whatsoever in the depth, right? So
Mm,
that's the reason. But for CSK, death bowling has always been the problem. Same here. I was surprised why they
yeah.
did not give a chance to Daryl Mitchell at least for a couple of overs. It might
Yeah.
have worked out because on these type of pitches, if you see Mustafizur Rahman, the slower cutters have worked very well. That's why you see that results with four
Mm,
wickets. Daryl Mitchell, he bowls
yeah.
it pretty slow. You can say in the 120s to mid 130s, and then he can bowl some good cutters. Maybe you could have given an over or two to him. Unlikely, but when
Yeah.
you have an all-rounder like that, it's not a bad go, right? You get more bowling
Agree.
options in there, and you might pick up a wicket or two. We never know. So it's time to just experiment with the team you have, a new captain as well. So it's time to see
Yeah.
how they will progress up into the table.
Agree. And Varun, your thoughts on Rachin Ravindra, because he was being bought at a low price, and nobody thought that he will make such an impact straight away. It's his debut match, but 37 of 15 on his debut, I think that's a very impressive start, because Gaikwad, him being captain as well, now he'll also feel the pressure. Being captain, now he has to score runs as well. So first match itself he cannot get the runs, but we saw Rachin Ravindra immediately is making the impact. He's scoring runs, having that intent over the RCB bowlers. As usual, RCB bowlers are not good, except for like Siraj. Siraj even
Right.
went 9 and over yesterday. So, your thoughts on Rachin Ravindra's intent yesterday?
I think first of all, before going on to that, I don't think no one expected Rachin Ravindra to be in the lineup. It was only after Devon Conway
Mm,
got injured that he, came
injured.
into the side. So it's a bit lucky for him
Yeah,
because with this innings, he
yeah,
has shown the world what he is capable of in T20s as well. Because for New
yeah,
Zealand, he's batting around 6 or 7. He doesn't have a high strike rate, and he did not get many chances to bat there. CSK has given him the
mm,
opportunity to open. He was a bit
mm,
iffy at the start, but once he got going,
yeah,
right, then he got going. When he went too aggressive,
yeah,
that's when he gave away his wicket. But we know what his intent is. We know what his intention is when he steps out onto the field. He wants to go aggressive. He wants to provide good starts for his side, and that's the quality of player that you need, especially for a team like this. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good debut, and it was some poor bowling by Royal
yeah,
Challengers Bangalore as well, because they have taken advantage of the two bouncer rule, but they've been
Yeah.
using it too much, and I think that's where they failed. I think they were depending too much on it. They could have used Mayank Daga just a bit more. He was really economical today, even for his 2 overs. Spin works on this kind of
Yeah.
tracks, and especially when you have a left arm spinner, which is pretty rare in this
Mm.
cricket circuit at the moment. You need to use him
Yeah.
as much as you can. You got 4 overs, you can use him, right? Maybe
Yeah.
then, as
Agree.
Rahul said, they could have had 50% or more chances, I would say, because Dagger, he nails his line and lengths. He was with our team. I've seen him in the nets. I've seen the clips. He's a pretty fantastic bowler. His fitness levels and his bowling levels is extremely tremendous. And RCB not using him wisely was very shocking to
Agree. Coming back to Rahul, RCB bowling attack again is a real concern yesterday. I mean, yes, Green contributed. He was being traded from MI to RCB, but Yash Dayal, Siraj also has been not economical yesterday. Joseph, meanwhile, was also not good at all yesterday. So, your thoughts towards the RCB bowling yesterday? Because I mean, this is going to be a concern for matches going up as well. So, and I mean, we didn't see Topley yesterday. They preferred Joseph over Topley. So, your thoughts also on that as well?
Uh, yeah, I think Reece Topley would have been a more threatening option for RCB bowling up front. They would have had a proper new ball bowler who could, take wickets. We have seen him do it for England over the years. Him and Siraj would have been a lethal opening combination with the ball. And RCB bowling, I have to say, it's not just been a problem with them right now. Honestly, throughout their history, bowling has been
Yeah,
their
it's been a problem.
weakness. They've never, be it in Chinnaswamy Stadium or outside Chinnaswamy Stadium, in any venue, bowling has
Yes.
been their clear weakness. And today, they never looked like they were going to defend this 173 runs. 173 runs in Chepauk is a defendable score. And this wicket was
Yep.
not the easiest to bat on. This was not a belter of a wicket that
Mm.
RCB could not defend 173. The only time their bowlers looked somewhat threatening was the overs 10 to 15 when they were keeping Daryl Mitchell and Shivam Dubey quiet with the short pitched bowling. That's the only time they really
Yeah.
looked somewhat in control of the match. But having not gotten enough wickets in that period, they were never going to defend this target. So that's a real worry for RCB going forward. I have a couple of notes to say on CSK as far as Rachin Ravindra. I feel Rachin Ravindra, even if Devin Conway was there, he would have had a shot at making the playing 11. Although bowling style, yes, it's similar to Ravindra Jadeja. He offers spin bowling as well. And on Chepauk surface, that's always very useful. As a matter of fact, Rachin Ravindra maybe could have bowled today. Mahesh Deekshana was not really that impressive. 0 for 36 off 4 overs. He was very good for CSK in the 2022 season, but 2023 last year he's been pretty ordinary. And here also the first match, I feel Tikshana hasn't been too effective. That too, being especially being a spin bowler in Chennai, he has to do a lot better than this in the future. And I feel like
Yeah.
if Tikshana is going for runs, then you have Rachin Ravindra as a backup, somebody else who can bowl a couple of overs for you. I feel today,
Yeah.
no problem, but in the future, going forward, CSK should use that option. And then
Mm.
Tushar Deshpande, not an ideal option to bowl with the new ball, to be honest. I mean, he's a little bit similar to Shardul Thakur, but I don't think he's very threatening up front with the new ball. If you look at new ball bowlers in T20, in generally any conditions, they will come in, they will bowl very fast, they will make use of whatever swing is there in the first 2 overs. I don't see Tushar Deshpande really doing that with the ball. I mean, he got quite a few wickets last year for Chennai Super Kings, but you have to really take it into context. A lot of those wickets is when batsmen tried to go for the boundaries and they lost their wickets by giving easy catches. Batsmen really threw away their wickets to give Tushar Deshpande his wickets, and that's the same thing with Shardul Thakur. He really relies a lot on batsmen making mistakes rather than him
Yeah.
doing good bowling to get wickets. I feel if we
Doing
bring
good.
Mukesh
Right.
Chowdhury into this lineup, Mukesh Chowdhury and Deepak Chahar together can be a pretty good new ball pair for Chennai Super Kings. If you recall in the 2022 season where CSK really had a disastrous year, Mukesh Chaudhary was one of the few bright spots for the team. I even remember one match where we were defending 96 against Mumbai Indians, and Mukesh Chaudhary bowled a spell up front, which gave CSK an outside chance of actually
Yeah,
defending that target. So he has a
Agree.
lot of promise to me, and he's also a
Yeah,
left-arm pace
agree.
bowler. So going forward for the even the Indian team, that he would be a real good solution for our problem of not having left-arm pace bowlers.
Agree. Okay, let's take from the comment section and let's make Varun answer it. So I think Ritam has asked, who do you think will be preferred once Patirana comes back?
basically, it depends on how Mustafizur does perform in the rest of these games. He's already shown his skill in the first game. It's a Chennai pitch. He used it well. In the rest of the conditions, it depends on how he reads it and how he bowls. I don't think CSK is going to use him in the power play. They're going to use him in the middle and the dead, just like Patirana. So he does have a competition there. So Mustafizur needs to perform. This is crunch time for him. One game, just doesn't make the cut for him. He needs to perform because Patirana is proved to CSK last year as well that he's a valuable asset at the death overs. He's turning out to be a good, young Yorker King type of bowler there for CSK. So yeah, it all depends on his next upcoming performances.
Do you see Moin Ali coming to the squad anytime if Tikshana can't pick up wickets? Because you say it's a spin track and he could have done a bit better. But do you feel like Moin Ali, because he can deliver with the bat as well, he could be handy with the bat and also could bowl those useful overs as well. So do you think Moin Ali has a chance if Tikshana doesn't keep on performing, because he can't bat much as well and he's just a bowler? So your thoughts?
I think with CSK usually they don't fiddle with the players' positions. Right, Moeen Ali is
Yeah,
usually a number three to number five type of batsman, and he doesn't have a
yeah,
slot there. Right, even if you get him in, you
agree,
have to play him somewhere at what number seven or number eight, or number nine, wherever
agree.
Tikshana plays, and that's just not acceptable for that kind of player. So even if you
Yeah,
can't just bring him in for the spin option because he is regarded as an all rounder. He wants to show his batting skills, right? He's not
yeah,
just a bowler. So
bowler.
when
Yeah,
I'm thinking
agreed.
in that type of way, I'd still keep
Hmm.
Deekshan in. I think it was just one bad day. He was trying to, I think, get those Yorkers in, but he was just throwing those full
Yeah,
tosses.
you person. Yeah,
Right. I think it's the
definitely.
first
Yeah,
game jitters. In a team, someone has them. Maybe one or two candidates have
yeah,
them, and Deekshan was unfortunately one of them for this game. But we know how CSK is.
agreed.
We know how their management is. We know how their coaches are. They're gonna take care of him.
Coaches.
I'm
Yeah,
not too worried about Deekshan at
yep,
the moment.
yeah. All right, one more question before we move on to the tomorrow's matches. Rahul, thoughts on Gaikwad's first match, as captain, and hearing the news that Gaikwad replacing Dhoni as a captain in the last minute, it was a shocker. We saw Dhoni like 2 weeks ago saying that, there could be a surprise happening this season, and we never knew that, Dhoni is going to, step down as captain. But your thoughts, your reactions,
Well,
Gaikwad replacing Dhoni as a captain, and also Dhoni's legacy as a captain also of Chennai Super
well,
Kings.
yeah.
And also just want to ask, do you think this could be maybe the last season of Dhoni now, since he has given it to Gaikwad and he wants to groom Gaikwad? And if this season goes well as planned, do you think this could be a farewell season for Dhoni?
To be frank, I think Gaikwad would have known well in advance that he was going to get the captaincy this year, and I kind of anticipated Dhoni giving up the captaincy because he mentioned a new role in the team. So and that was kind of a hint that he might be giving up the captaincy. But generally, if you're giving somebody captaincy, they will be informed. The person concerned will be informed well before time, because you can't
Right.
you won't
Agreed.
no team management will tell the whole entire world and the media first before the player themselves. The player will obviously know that they're going to become captain well before it gets sent out to the media. So it was definitely probably
Yeah,
kept under wraps until the very last moment, until the IPL began, that Dhoni was going to give up captaincy. So
give up
it
captaincy. Yeah,
was definitely was not a sudden announcement. So as far as this season is concerned, well, we've seen Dhoni giving up the captaincy once. He gave it to Jadeja in 2022, but that experiment did not really go as planned. And I think a big reason why Dhoni took back the captaincy in the middle of that season was because not just because of the result in that CSK was doing badly, but it was also because it was affecting Jadeja's game overall. Because we have seen Jadeja's ability to contribute with the bat for CSK, contribute with the ball, and even contribute in the field. And we saw that year in 2022 when Jadeja became captain, all of a sudden he was not even fielding well, not even fielding 20% of what he usually feels. So it was affecting his game, and I think that's what made Dhoni the captain all over again. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a different story with Gaikwad for many reasons. One reason is Gaikwad has already been a captain before. He has captained his state team. He's captained Maharashtra in domestic cricket. He's been captain of India
Yeah.
A. So he knows what it is like to lead a team. He has a fair experience. And same thing we saw for the Indian cricket team when the captaincy was passed on to Virat Kohli. There wasn't too much trouble in transition because Virat Kohli has been a captain before himself, and he was already vice captain under Dhoni. Gaikwad was already vice captain under Dhoni for Chennai Super Kings. So
Right.
I feel this transition is going to be a lot smoother, especially if the first match is anything to go by. But it's also this season there are 7 matches in Chennai. That is a huge thing for Gaikwad. Back in 2022, there were no matches in Chennai. The whole tournament was in Maharashtra, and you had to adjust basically to those conditions. There were no advantages or disadvantages. If your team is not good enough, you're exposed for the whole tournament. Whereas in this tournament, you have 7 games in Chennai where you can really make use of your home advantage. You can design the team to suit the Chepauk pitch, and get win at least those 5 or 6 games out of your 7 home games, and that gives you a real advantage when it comes to. It really takes the pressure off when it comes to making the playoffs, because then you only have to win 2 or 3 matches away from home, and then you will get into the playoffs. So I feel this transition is going to be a lot smoother. The transition from Dhoni to Gaikwad. As
Gaikwad.
far as
Yeah.
him giving up the captaincy, I think this is definitely a sign that it's going to be his last season. I mean, many would have thought that in 2022 as well, but I feel this year now he's 2 years older. So at some point the retirement has to come, right? So it's probably going
Yeah.
to happen this year, especially if CSK ends up doing pretty well. And by doing well, I don't mean exactly winning the IPL, but at least like coming to the playoffs, coming close to winning the final. If we do that, then Dhoni will retire with the team in good hands. As
Good
far
hands.
as
Yeah.
Dhoni's legacy
Agreed.
is concerned, I think, well, there's no questioning it really. I would have liked CSK to win a few more finals against Mumbai Indians, obviously. But other than that, he's still won 5 trophies as captain. Which is still the joint
Maybe one
highest
against
along with the
RCB.
Mumbai Indians. Well, CSK did
They
defeat.
did it in
Yeah, well,
2011. They
2011
did it
there
in
was the
2011.
win
Yeah.
against RCB. I would like to win a few more titles against finals against Mumbai Indians, but other than that, it's been really good under Dhoni's captaincy. It's been really consistent. 2020 was the first time under Dhoni's captaincy that CSK did not make the playoffs. From 2008 till
Yeah.
2019, they managed to reach the playoffs every time. And of course, I'll leave out the 2 seasons where CSK was banned, 2016 and 2017. But um, he's really been a great captain for CSK. It's going to be hard to match that for any future captain, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think it
Definitely.
was
Definitely.
extraordinary the last 2 titles as well. I mean, after turning 40, he managed to win it twice as a captain. That is something incredible. You
Mm,
won't see that. I don't think many will play till 43 years old, let alone being the captain of the team.
yeah. Definitely. Definitely not. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. So let's go to the next match. So let's go to match two, which is between DC versus PBKS, and it's in the new stadium in Mulanpur in Punjab. So we got that day from Paji also how the pitch is going to be. Okay, let's take comments. Pawan, why didn't you do under 19 coverage? Sorry, I was a bit busy during January,
It got
February.
shifted
Now
out of
I've
Sri
got a bit
Lanka.
of free
That's
time.
why. Okay, no, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But thanks for joining in, Nikhil, and you can ask questions as well from the panelists and myself as well. But let's go to the next match, PBKS versus DC. So let's try to analyze on the ground first of all. So Barun, first of all, it's in Mulanpur. It's like not in Chandrikar anymore. I think it's a new ground. It's a new stadium for PBKS this season. So your thoughts towards? I mean, we haven't seen much of action in Mulanpur, but any thoughts towards any insights from anyone or from the internet on the stadium, because it's going to be a new stadium, new capacity. So any thoughts towards that?
It's gonna be similar to the old stadium pitches. It's gonna be similar to the Mohali Stadium pitches, but it is gonna assist a bit more on the spinner. So you can see Liam Livingstone rolling his arm for a couple of overs. Rest all are the same. It's gonna be a good batting track. Uh, I think Punjab and DC will like it because they have some good batsmen there. DC in the bowling, they're gonna be a little more effective because of Kuldeep Yadav. I would say he's gonna suit that pitch pretty well. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty even game. It's all based on how the first batting side performs. You need to get a good total on the board. So win the toss, bat first, put a total, and then just try to defend it as best as you can. I think that's the way to go in this new ground.
Yeah, okay. Coming back to Varun as well. So I think DC, I'm not sure whether Noika is in India right now, but if he isn't, I think it's going to be a big blow because I think even Jai Richardson, I think, is right now injured. I think he is also into recovery. So, first of all, how do you see the DC playing 11 going to be assembled? Because I think Jake Fraser Magger could get a debut tomorrow, seeing how things are going, but Yathas, do you think the bowling front would be a bit weak? Obviously Noike is going to be a big loss for DC, but do you think the Indian bowlers can cover it? Or because I'm not sure about Jai Richardson whether he's fit for tomorrow or not, but do you think they are capable of trying to defend a score or even restricting PBKS to maybe a 150, 160 tomorrow without
Uh,
Noike?
the problem with DC is their middle order and bowling. I would say I think DC first going to the batting, they're over dependent on their top order because in the middle order, last year also you didn't have much quality of players, and this time I
Yeah,
just don't see it. I think DC is more over dependent on Warner and Marsh now. Even if you have at
yeah,
least Prithvi Shaw in form, then you can consider it at least acceptable for a batting
yeah,
lineup. Then once your opener set up a platform, then the middle order, however bad it is, somehow they can manage to score the runs and post you can say a commendable target. Right, but now
agree.
you only have Warner and Marsh, 1 and 3, and then Prithvi Shaw, and then 4, 5, 6. I think it's pretty average, you can say. So I would say first of all, the four overseas players, since there are no overseas bowlers, is gonna be Tristan Stubbs, Fraser McGurk, right, and then Warner, and then Mitchell Marsh. Those are gonna be your four overseas. All our batsmen,
Yeah,
unfortunately, no bowlers, and that's the disadvantage DC have there without a good
yeah,
overseas bowler. Because if you remember, DC used to have Norke and Rabada together. Now Richardson
yeah,
is injured and Norke is still in South Africa, so now they don't have that option. Some good things
yeah,
they do have is Indian spinners. They have Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav. They'll come into play very well on this pitch. I'm at least hoping for that.
yeah,
Other than the opening with the Warner and those two spinners that DC have,
yeah,
it's not much to talk about right now. But then you see Rishabh Pant coming into the lineup, and suddenly all stars start to line up because that was the missing piece that Delhi Capitals have suffered last year.
yeah,
They needed
yeah.
him. Something, somewhere
Mm,
in the dressing room as well, there will be some sort of spark or some kind of confidence saying our captain is back, or true wicket keeper is back as well. Right. He might not wicket keep, but he is
agree.
still gonna be with DC. He is still gonna be on the field, which is gonna boost up their, the confidence levels and DC's performance rates to a whole nother level because he is the experience that they do need.
Yep, agree. Okay, coming to Rahul, so let's talk about PBKs as well. So I think all the overseas players are available right now for PBKs. But talking about PBKs, I mean, after a long time, I think they've stick to the same captain, they've stick to the same coach, and they didn't fiddle, much with the squad as well. They only released four players. but they're bringing Harshal Patel. How do you see Harshal Patel going to perform these cracks, especially in Punjab? Because he has been playing in RCB. Those have been batting belter pitches. But how do you see Harshal Patel doing in Punjab? Also, I want to ask on now last season they rotated between Rabada and Ellis. They preferred Ellis in the first few matches, then brought in Rabada in the last few matches. So how do you see that also going? Do you think Rabada can get get into the playing 11 first of all, or will they prefer Ellis because of the high bounce, and especially the how the pitchers behave in Punjab?
I'm not. I think it's a real toss up between Nathan Ellis and Rabada, because Rabada, one thing, he has a bigger reputation than Nathan Ellis for sure, but Nathan Ellis has better form, so it's a real toss up between Nathan Ellis and Rabada. I would probably go for Rabada. It's hard to leave a bowler of Rabada's quality out of a playing 11 for Punjab, if you're talking about. I think though that their bowling is still fairly strong, even if they include Rabada and they include Harshal Patel. I feel Harshal Patel maybe on this ground. I'm not sure how big this Mulanpur ground is. I'm sure it's bigger than Chinnaswamy Stadium. Of course, any cricket stadium will be bigger than Chinnaswamy, but to be frank, I think Mulanpur conditions won't be as batting friendly as Bangalore conditions. So maybe he can do a lot better on these pitches compared to having to play 7 out of 14 games in Bangalore. So I think this is a good,
Yeah,
a suitable team environment also for him, because Harshal Patel also doesn't have strong bowlers around him in RCB. He's surrounded by much stronger bowlers over here, and that can probably help him lift his performance. Batting wise, I think Punjab have got a lot of options here right now. I think they really have to decide on their overseas players. Personally, actually, I might even choose Sikandar Raza over Liam Livingstone, because Sikandar Raza, he has the ability to handle pressure. He performs in a lot of crunch situations. We saw that in the few IPL matches he played last year. There was a close run chase against Lucknow Super Giants where he took Punjab to victory, and then a chase against Chennai Super Kings where he got 3 runs off the last ball and helped them chase 200 runs. So he has the ability to perform under pressure, and he always has to handle pressure because in international cricket he plays for a team like Zimbabwe, where he's one of the main players on the team. So that might
yeah,
make me prefer Sikandar Raza over Liam Livingstone. Opening, I think, is kind of set. You can have Johnny Bairstow opening with Shikhar Dhawan. I think that'll be a good opening pair for them. How they match up against Delhi
mm,
Capitals, I think Punjab Kings is a lot stronger on paper. It has to be said. Delhi
yeah, yeah,
Capitals, I
agree,
mean,
agree.
although
Yeah,
they have the boost of Rishabh Pant returning to the lineup right now, overall their squad is still looking a lot average, with all due respect. So I think
yeah, yeah,
Punjab is going to be a lot stronger. Their batting, I think, can definitely put up a big total against Delhi Capitals bowling. And then
mm,
with Delhi Capitals middle order, I feel that can also be exploited by the bowling Punjab Kings have, and add to that home advantage. So I think Punjab Kings is a big favorite in this match.
mm,
I would say
definitely,
like
yeah,
basically both the teams, both the squads and both the lineups, they're pretty inconsistent players in the batting lineup. Right. If you see, I think DC and Punjab Kings, their opening is good, but once you go into the middle order, right, it all starts falling down. If one opener falls and they don't get that good opening stand, the rest of them just tumble down. So that's the problem there, and I think that's the reason why I want Liam Livingston, because Punjab Kings mindset is basically that they want to be aggressive. They're trying to use this kind of baseball situation where every player should just go hard, and that's like a 50-50 chance that that will work. You can win 7 games and lose 7, so that's the kind of motto that they're going with. And I think even
yeah,
Liam Livingston, he's a much better batter than who is this guy? God damn it, forgot him.
Sikandar Raza.
Sikandar Raza, yeah. And also, yeah, they both can also provide spin options. So Punjab Kings already has Rahul Chahar and Harpreet Brar to bowl in the
yeah,
spin sector. So all you need is a part timer, right? And I think Liam Livingston can provide. those 2 overs.
Yeah.
I think
Also,
middle
yeah,
order wise, I think Punjab Kings have a slightly stronger lineup compared to Delhi Capitals,
this
because you
yeah,
have players like
yeah,
Jitesh
yeah,
Sharma, Prabh Simran Singh, Atharva Taide can play, and maybe you could include Sam Curran somewhere if there is
current.
space for another foreigner. You can
Sam
include.
Curran is probably gonna play.
But the only issue is that Livingston is not in good form coming to the IPL. I mean, he has not been scoring much runs, but we never know how he performs in the IPL. But
I mean,
I mean, Jitesh Sharma,
just look
yes,
at
but it's a
it
bit
this way,
brittle, I
man.
think.
Faf du Plessis, the last couple of tournaments he's played, he was absolute dog water. But he
Yeah,
came into the IPL and in the game, CSK RCB, you saw how he performed anyway. So again, it's different conditions. It's a whole different ball game when it comes to IPL. We can't say
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
It's still the starting of the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And talking about Sam Curran, Varun, what can you expect from him? Because, last season he had the price tag and, he didn't perform as, up to expectation. Yeah, he was captain for a few matches and did win matches. But your thoughts, because his bowling wasn't at its best last season. But what can we expect from Sam Curran since now that price tag is over? There has been players who's been bought much higher than him, and him having a bigger role. I mean, Jitesh Sharma is now vice captain, and Sam Curran, I think, lost his vice captain for some reason. But your thoughts towards that also? Yeah,
I'm I'm thinking PBK is looking at him as like a batting all rounder. That's why they were using him at like number 4, 5, and 6. Right, they were trying to put him in the middle order, and he was scoring those quick fire 35, 40 runs. So I think that's
yeah,
his role right now, because you already have your power play bowlers. You got Arshdeep and you got Kagiso Rabada or Nathan Ellis. Right, so you already got that
mm,
set, and maybe one over of spin, either the fourth or fifth over of spin in there. So you
yeah,
really do not need Sam Curran in the power play. Only he comes in the middle overs. Once he goes expensive, he just bowls 2 overs. Or if he's good on a good day, maybe he just might bowl 3 and 1 in the death. Right. So I'm not really
yep,
expecting much of a bowling performance from him. Just as a batsman, he's gonna play at number 5, and that's where I really want to see him succeed.
yeah. Also, yeah, one more question on DC as well. Rahul, how do you see the impact player going to happen tomorrow for Delhi Capitals? Because there are options. Lalit Yadav is there. I think Kushagar will play tomorrow. I feel like even though Pant is fit and he's cleared to wicket keep, I feel like Kushagar might keep for the first few matches. But how can DC use the impact player if they're going to bowl or bat first? Because I think what I've heard is that Noike is still in South Africa, and Jai Richardson still recovering from injury. So now they'll have to use all five Indian bowlers. So how do you see them using the impact player
Yeah,
tomorrow?
so if they're bowling first, probably their four bowlers. I'll start from bowlers. Their bowlers will
Yeah,
probably be Kuldeep Yadav, Mukesh Kumar, Khalil Ahmed, and Ishant Sharma. They'll probably go all four as Indians, and um,
yeah,
and of course among all rounders there is Mitchell Marsh and Akshar Patel to bowl, and top order
yeah,
will be set David Warner, Prithvi Shaw, and you will have Rishabh Pant playing, and one among Tristan Stubbs or Shai Hope. So if they're bowling first, four bowlers will be Mukesh Kumar, Kuldeep Yadav, Khalil Ahmed, and Ishant Sharma. And then in the second innings, one of them will get substituted, and you can probably bring in someone like Yash Dul or Kumar Kushagra to bat. So, and then
yeah,
vice versa if Delhi Capitals is batting first.
yeah. Yes, Rahul.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be a toss up. I mean, for wicket keeping, it's going to be a toss up between Tristan Stubbs and Shai Hope. I'm not sure if Kumar Kushagra will be a wicket keeper. That I'm not 100% sure about, because this team has a lot of wicket keepers. There are five players who can keep wickets basically in their squad.
Right. In my
yeah,
opinion, I think Delhi might go with only 3 overseas players if they're bowling first,
mm,
though, because you need
yeah,
Tristan Stubbs anyway. He's gonna be your wicketkeeper in my opinion, and then you have Mitchell Marsh, and then you have David Warner, right?
Yeah.
So the fourth overseas is going to depend on what's your target, and what's your batting lineup. You can either get in an Indian batsman and just play with three overseas, or you can get in either of Shai Hope or Fraser McGurk and play him as a fourth overseas at number four or number five position there.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go for predictions, guys. Rahul, highest run scorer, highest wicket taker, man of the match, and yeah, who's going to win tomorrow? Yeah, from both of you. We'll start from
Yeah,
Rahul.
okay. So for the first match, I think Punjab Kings is going to win it. Okay, and
Yeah.
highest wicket taker, I feel it's going to be. I'm going to go with the Arshdeep Singh for Punjab Kings, and
Okay.
highest run getter Johnny Bairstow. That is my
All
prediction.
right.
And then with the
All right.
Delhi Capitals, I think David Warner is going to be the highest run scorer. The only question
Yeah.
is what strike rate he scores at. That's the only big question mark. And then
Yeah.
highest wicket
Yeah.
taker will probably be Kuldeep Yadav.
Mm, definitely. What about you, Arun? Tomorrow predictions? You can tell for both teams exactly what's the highest run score and highest wicket taker. Don't have to say for both teams. Just have to say it overall. Yeah.
Overall, okay.
So for
Yeah.
the PBKS part, my highest run scorer is going to be Prabhsimran Singh. My highest wicket taker is going to be Harpreet Brar.
Mm.
Going on to DC, my highest run scorer is Mitchell Marsh, and the highest wicket taker is Kuldeep Yadav.
And who's going to win? PBKS or DC?
I mean, I would say both the teams have their holes that they have to sort out. TCA have some
Yeah.
missing players, especially the bowling. The bowling side looks a bit more weaker. So because of that reason, I'm going with Punjab.
Yeah, okay. So my thoughts, yeah. So for PBK's highest run scorer, I feel it's going to be Shikhar Dhawan tomorrow. Highest wicket taker, I'm going with Rahul
All right.
Chaha. DC highest wicket taker Kuldeep Yadav. Highest run scorer, I'm going to go with Mitchell Marsh. And yeah, obviously I have to support DC because it's my team. So it's the team that I support. So obviously I'm going to back Delhi Capitals no matter what position we are in. I know the bowling is a bit weak tomorrow without Noikia, and not having an overseas bowler is going to cost us, but I still think DC can somehow drag this through against PBKs, but it's going to be a close match. All right, let's go to the next match. KKR versus SRH, and let's get Varun's thoughts to us this because he's going to be the 24.5 crore player going to play against the 20.5 crore player. But first of all, yeah. But first of all, Varun, thoughts on Cummins being captain. It's going to be a new season for him. Didn't go well 2 seasons ago with KKR, but now he's being given a new role. And also your thoughts whether Markram could be left out of the squad now since he's not captain anymore, and there's competition. There's 8 overseas players. I think Hasaranga's not available, so it leaves to 7. But still, there's competition amongst the SRH overseas players. So your thoughts?
I think first of all, buying Pat Cummins for 20.5 crores, that already was a sign from Daniel Vettori saying we are going to make him captain, right? Or else
Yeah.
I don't think there was any reason why we would think to put 20.5 crores to him. Sure, we had the extra budget because of Hasaranga and Travis's price, right? We expected them to go for
Yeah.
20 crores, but they came for under 9. But still, to put
Yeah.
20.5 crores on a player, you could have just left him anywhere in the auction and given him to RCB and ruined their plans, totally,
Yeah.
right? But
Definitely.
we persevered and we got him for 20.5 crores, and there must be a reason, and that is for the captaincy reason. And the reason for sacking
Yeah.
Aiden Markram is because he did not gel with the team right as the captain. He did not know the domestic Indian players or how they'll play or how they're gonna work. Right? He did
Mm.
not know how the Indian pitches are and how they were gonna work, and he did not
Yeah.
communicate with the Hyderabad pitch curators to say how this team would like their pitches to be. See, it has to be according to
Mm.
your home side, right? But he could not do that, and the same problems lied with Brian Lara there. He hasn't had any prior coaching experiences there. He didn't
Yeah.
know the pitch conditions. He didn't know the players. He's just a good analyst in the Star Sports panelist area. All right, but while being a head coach, that's a whole different ball game, especially in the IPL, right? So
Yeah.
the Star Sports analysis does not work in the dugout. So
Yeah.
that's why we got
Definitely.
in Vettori. Fortunately, he became like a World Cup winning coach, and we got our World Cup
Yes.
winning captain. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully that's gonna work out for us.
Don't you think like Indian captain could have worked like a Mayank Agrawal in the team, because because he knows the Indian players very well. He knows how to communicate with all the other players as well. Because Pat Cummins, he hasn't had much experience in 2020 captaincy and not playing much 2020 matches either. He for Australia, yes, he plays a couple of 2020, but not so much. Mainly he focuses on ODI and Test and doesn't have prior 2020 captaincy. So do you think that could affect Cummins? Cummins's role this season, because this is going to be the first time he's captaining in a 2020 match. Yes, he's a World Cup winning
Yeah.
captain in both ODI and Test, but this is 2020 cricket and this is IPL also, so it's a different ball game. And we know how Cummins struggled 2 years ago with KKR also. So, your thoughts on that?
So basically, first of all, see, people
Yeah.
commented on Pat Cummins becoming Test captain. He showed his skill and he won the
Mm.
WTC. Right? People
Yeah,
commented on him
definitely.
becoming the ODI captain, and he proved his skill by winning the World Cup now.
World Cup.
Now he's
Yes,
becoming the
definitely.
T20
Yeah.
captain. Now he needs to prove what he is. And this is a man who always sticks to his word. He said he's going to silence the Indian crowd, and he has done that. No one believed him. He
Yeah.
silenced 1.4 billion Indians, and that we still take it to heart, right? It still hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that man, he's a perseverer. He's a champion of a cricketer, and as a fan of the Sunrisers and him being the captain, at the moment, I just blindly trust him and Daniel Vittori to just take care of the whole team, because that combo has been working for almost 1.5, 2 or 3 years right now. Right. And I don't
Mm.
think it really matters whether he's captaining a T20 side in India, because he knows the Indian conditions. And Daniel Vettori already has prior experience coaching RCB for around 4 or 5 years, I would say. Right. So he knows how the
Yes.
Indian conditions are. They haven't changed much since the time he started coaching, anyways. We all know how the Indian conditions are like. As fans, we know, right? Why won't the coaches know, who have been experienced for so long under these Indian conditions? So, yeah, I think it is going to work out. Pat Cummins, he has been taking some good tips from all the camp around, from Daniel Vettori, from Travis, from Bhuvi, from Mayank, from everyone there, to see how how the T20 structure is gonna be like. And it just takes him a few days, because he's a pretty quick learner. We've seen that with the Test and ODI format, and hopefully you're gonna see it
Mm.
in the T20 format. And talking about the Mayank Agarwal captaincy part, right? I think it's good to have an Indian captain, but the thing is, none of the Indian players we have other than Bhuvaneshwar Kumar have a fixed place in the lineup. Right. And Pat
Yes,
Cummins already, he
definitely.
knows Indian conditions. Daniel Vettori, he knows Indian conditions. So it wasn't a real necessity to put an Indian captain, sorry, to put an Indian as a captain, such as Mayank Agarwal.
Yeah, even John here has said Cummins is a great leader of men. He could captain a beach cricket team to glory. Interesting, interesting. Beach cricket team to glory. Yeah,
I
that's a nice,
completely agree with
nice
this
sarcastic
statement.
comment.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But coming to KKR, Rahul, Mitchell Stark, after 9 years, I mean, Gambhir wanted Stark so badly and tried to go until 24 crores, kind of doing their budget also at the end. But, KKR do have a good squad this time, I feel. So, your thoughts, Mitchell Stark, after 8 or 9 years, he's back in the IPL. What sort of impact will he make? Plus, talking about also the injury concerns that KKR had in the replacements, Phil. Jason Roy opted out. Phil Salt came in. So, and then we saw Chamiro also was going to be ruled out, but I think now he's going to be back by the third match. So that's good news for KKR. And Shreyas Iyer back as captain. Nitish Rana was captain last season. Now it's Shreyas Iyer back as captain. So your thoughts towards, let's start with Stark first of all, Rahul. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mitchell Stark, one thing, I think he's playing this IPL only for one reason alone, and that is because immediately after the IPL comes the T20 World Cup, and he's using this IPL as a practice because Mitchell Stark uh, is one of those cricketers who doesn't play franchise cricket at all. He stopped playing IPL to manage his workload, to manage his fitness, and be fit for playing for Australia. he doesn't play the Big Bash League either. Of course, most international Australian cricketers, they don't play the Big Bash League because goes along with Test match cricket. But Mitchell Stark has persevered throughout his career. He has sacrificed playing franchise cricket and sacrificed earning all that money in order to serve Australia in international cricket. So
Yeah.
one has to really give him credit for that first of all. But now having got into the
Yeah.
KKR team, I think now KKR has to really take care to prepare conditions that will favor Mitchell Stark, because you got Mitchell Stark for such a big amount. So now they
Mm.
have to take care to prepare the conditions that will favor his type of bowling. Yes, there are spinners in the KKR team, but you have pace bowlers in your team as well. And
Yep.
Kolkata can offer such conditions which favor pace bowling. So they really have to take care to make sure that Mitchell Stark will have that kind of an impact. And I think KKR can be a little more settled right now. I think three foreigners in their playing 11 can really be etched in stone. They're at that point. They can put down Mitchell Stark, Sunil Narayan, and Andre Russell, and then you can have either Philip Salt or Ramonilla Gurbaz opening the batting for you. So you can
Yep.
say that their four foreigners in the playing 11 are fairly set. And then you have Shreyas Iyer as captain. Probably Venkatesh Iyer will open the batting with, I'll say, Philip Salt. Venkatesh Iyer will open the batting
Yeah.
with Philip Salt, Shreyas Iyer at one down, and then
Yeah.
Rinku Singh, number four Nitish Rana, the number five Rinku Singh. So you have a pretty decent top five
Yep.
in the batting. And then
Definitely.
probably you can bring in who else are missing? Yeah, Manish Pandey. So top this will be the top six for the team, and then one all rounder Andre Russell is there. Then Sunil Narayan probably. One thing which has to be said is Sunil Narayan as opener is stopped really working very well for KKR now. So you have to bring him in the middle
Mm.
order for him to have the same impact, because I think most bowling teams, they have figured out how to get Narayan out with the new ball and get him out very early in the innings. So you have to bring him in the
Exactly.
middle order right now. Then spin bowling, they have
Yep.
pretty strong spin bowling as well. Suyash Sharma was very good last year. There's Varun Chakravarti, Sakaria can also make use of any
Sakaria.
pace friendly conditions. So this is looking like a pretty established team right now, Kolkata Knight Riders. I want to actually come to the Pat Cummins captaincy aspect for SRH, if I may. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Sure.
mean, there actually SRH had a lot of options. If they didn't get Pat Cummins, there's Vanindu Hasaranga. I know Lanka Premier League is definitely not as big as, nowhere near as big as the IPL, but in 4 seasons of Lanka
Yeah.
Premier League, Hasaranga has captained two different teams to the title. So that is definitely an achievement. Captaining one team to many titles is
Mm.
an achievement, and captaining different teams to the same title, that is also an achievement. And then Aiden Markram, for all that he did not do well in the IPL, he led the Sunrisers East
Eastern
Cape
Capes.
Town to back-to-back SA T20 titles. So he also has captaincy credentials. The one big question mark around Pat Cummins' captaincy is, can he play all 14 matches? That is the only question. Will he play all the 14 matches? That is the only question mark. But I agree with all Varun's points about Pat Cummins' captaincy, like him leading Australia to the World Test Championship and the World Cup titles. I think that really
Yep.
boosted his claim to getting a captaincy for SRH. And for a team like SRH finished in last place last season. They have nothing to lose right
Mm.
now. They cannot really go get as worse as they got last season. They can only get better from there. And you need, when you have such a low, you need to bring somebody who can bring about change and can bring about a mentality in the team. So they made a big, and you have to make bold decisions for that. So they went with getting
Yep.
Pat Cummins, and they made him the captain of the team. One thing is, you can say
Yes.
that he hasn't captained in T20 cricket before, but leadership is leadership. It doesn't matter what format
Yes.
you are leading your team
Right.
in. If you can are capable
That's
of
right.
having leadership qualities, and you can inspire your teammates. You can be captain in any format. To be honest, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
IPL or international cricket, or ODI or T20 cricket or Test match cricket. If you are able to inspire your teammates to get the results, then you can definitely lead the team in any format. It still
The
counts.
doubt is not his captaincy; it's how he performs in 2020 cricket because he hasn't shown much of his
See,
performance in 2020
captaincy,
cricket compared to other
captaincy
formats.
is. I mean, yes, you need to perform as an individual in a team. That is
Yeah,
understandable, but
that's right.
I
Yeah,
think a lot of people kind of confuse captaincy here. I mean, when we praise Dhoni as a captain, very often people talk about he's not contributing, but captaincy is not just about your individual contribution. It is how you inspire the other players to bring out the best in themselves, and make the team
exactly.
win.
Yeah, agreed.
Ultimately, you have to be
Agreed.
invested in other players' performances as well as your own. That is the
Definitely.
whole
Yeah.
point of it. If some player doesn't perform at their best, but they can inspire others to perform their best, they're still a good captain, in my opinion. And I think uh, the the best player in the team is not always the most ideal person to lead the team, because we have seen in the context of Indian cricket team and in IPL, Virat Kohli is one of the best batsmen in the world, but he was not a very good captain for RCB, and he did not do very well for Team India as well when he was the captain. So the best player in the team is not always the ideal person to lead. Sometimes the best leader in the team may be one of the players who is like maybe not one of the best players in the team, or a much lesser name.
Yeah. Good comment here from John, and let's make Varun also to answer. Aussies are not even a dominant team. Their batting is average at best, yet they are WTC champions and ODI World Cup champions, winning the cup in India versus a dominant Indian side. Your thoughts?
So, yeah. So, yeah, Australia rises
Yes.
up to the occasion whenever there's an important calendar to look at, especially like T20 World Cups, ODI World Cups, or the World Test Championships. They are big team. They are a big team. They have big players. Like Travis said, right? He destroyed us single-handedly in both in the WTC and in the World Cup. So they have those type of quality of players. You see, even though in our minds we might think that they're average players just by looking at their name, because we haven't seen them much, but in reality when
Yeah.
you go and see them play, right, then you can know that they are absolute quality. So I will not really take these kind of comments and judgments,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because once they
Definitely.
See,
Yeah.
make it into the national side, that means they have already proved a point, right? That's why they are in the national
Yeah.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Rahul. Yeah. Go
so
ahead. Yeah.
I want to also comment on that comment. So to be honest, it's not about being dominant. I mean, you can win every bilateral series, every group stage match in the World Cup, and then come to the semis and the final, but we
Mm,
don't win the semis and the final. All of that really comes to zero. It doesn't mean anything. We won 10 matches continuously to come to the World Cup final, and we were beating everyone at side pretty handily. But if we don't perform at the final when it really counts, then all the efforts come to nothing, because
Yeah.
frankly speaking, in the last year's ODI World Cup final, unfortunately, I don't want to relive that day, but uh,
Yes.
in
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
final, we were the number one team and we were the home team. So we were firm favorites to win that World Cup. So definitely,
Yeah.
if you lose in the final, then all the other efforts come to zero. But I kind of
Mm.
prepared myself for that defeat, because that Australian team in the World Cup final, 7 out of their 11 players in the playing 11 were part of the 2015 World Cup winning squad. So
yeah.
they have the
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
of winning the tournament. So it's a little bit unfair to call them an ordinary side, because if that team has players which have already lifted the title before, that can't be an ordinary side. If you look at the
Team.
Indian
Yes.
team
Definitely.
playing 11 in the World Cup final,
Only
only
Virat
Virat
Kohli has
Kohli
won.
played an ODI World Cup final before. All the other 10 players were new to the World Cup final, and player Shubman
That's right.
Gill,
Yeah.
Shreya Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, these three in particular, they showed their inexperience in the final.
Yes.
And frankly speaking,
Definitely.
it's not just the lack of experience. I think overall, even players who are very good otherwise for Team India. They play well in every bilateral, they play well in every group stage match in the World Cup, every Asia Cup match, or whatever non ICC tournament knockout match is there. They play very well. They play like the best team in the world. But that vanishes when we play. And if you put the label ICC tournament knockout in front of a match, we suddenly throw in the towel, we surrender, and we perform like Bangladesh all of a sudden.
Actually,
So it really shows that the mentality, we don't have the mentality, to be very honest. So, and that's why we have been
Yeah.
consistently choking in knockouts for the last 10 years. Aussies have got the mentality. They don't win every bilateral series. In fact, they often play with second string sides and get thrashed in bilateral series, but they'll bring their full strength. They'll bring their best in the ICC tournaments. You look at the last 3 years, they won the T20 World Cup, they won the World Test Championship and the ODI World Cup. They've done the, what to say, the treble, you could say. If they didn't lose in 2022 T20 World Cup, they would have done the treble, and they have a chance to do it this year as well. So Australia is a real big match side. They don't perform in every bilateral series. They peak when it matters. I kind of felt like in the ODI World Cup, India was peaking a little bit too early, and I felt like maybe we should have lost one or two matches in the group
yeah.
stage to get a little bit of a reality check. We came to the
Mm,
final,
definitely.
getting too overconfident, and we thought like we just turn up on the field, we'll end up winning. But that's not how cricket works.
Good point. Yeah, good point over there. Yeah, all right. Let's come back to IPL.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
sorry.
coming to the bowling attack of yeah, no, no worries. It was a comment. I just wanted to take the comment from the comment section. Yeah, coming to Varun and on the SRH bowling attack. So I think I was following a bit on the practice matches, and we saw Umran Malik doing well in the practice match, if I'm not mistaken. So but coming to the fast bowling, so you have Natarajan, you have Umran. Now you've got in a Nataraj, sorry, you've got in a Unadkat, Jaidev Unadkat in the team. You have quite a few options, and also in the spin attack, also you have Washington Sundar coming back, and Shabazz Ahmed being traded for Mayank Dagar. So you have a lot of good, I mean, bowling options, and Markande is also going to play, I think, because Hasaranga is not available, obviously. So talk about the bowling attack. How will you assemble the the bowling attack of SRH for tomorrow's match, from number 7 to number 11? Because you have Marco Jansen, you have many
Yeah.
options, bowling options, but you need the five or six strong bowlers for this match. Yeah,
Most of the bowlers we're gonna use have been there last year as well. The only problem last
yeah,
year was that the team did not gel well together and the pitches were not, suited to us, and that's the only reason why they failed. Or else there's nothing too negative to say about this bowling lineup other than that they're pretty injury prone, right?
yeah,
But
definitely.
when I look at these names, you can say that this is a pretty formidable bowling lineup. So if these guys keep their, health and body safe, then this bowling lineup can do
Mm,
wonders any day. You have Bhuvneshwar Kumar
yeah,
to start off the innings, and then you have Pat Cummins who can bowl his cutters in Hyderabad and do wonders. That's what I'm expecting. Hyderabad Cummins
exactly.
cutters is gonna work really well, and then you have I think he's gonna be a good emerging player, Nitish Kumar Reddy, a good batsman
Mm,
and a pretty good bowler. He can swing the ball both ways. So just watch out for that man. And then you got Jaydev
yeah,
Unadkat who can come in for Natarajan if injured again. In the practice games, though, Unadkat, he was a standout bowler for me, right? Because in the
mm,
previous seasons as well, he has been a little iffy, right? But now,
yeah,
coming into these practice games, he has looked in some good touch, I can say. And I actually want to see him in the lineup instead of Nataraj. And I feel like he can be that dark horse in the side. I think no one is expecting anything from him. But so I think Unadkat, he needs to prove a point here, and I feel that he might. And
mm,
then you have your spin attack with the Sundar, Shabas, Mayank Markande, you have Abhishek Sharma, you have Travis Head, you have Aiden Markham, you got
many
tons
options.
of spinners. You got a good, ton of experienced spinners you can see now in the IPL, and you got a good amount of part-time spinners as well. So I think
Exactly.
the levels are sorted. The only thing that is missing is that wicket-taking option in the middle overs. right?
Mm.
We need Hasaranga, in my opinion, but he has still not arrived. I don't know what's taking him so long. Is he still gonna stay in Sri Lanka for the Test series? If he is, that's the stupidest thing he's gonna do. He should just run away from the Sri Lanka camp, get on a damn plane, and come to the camp as soon as possible. I'm saying this right now because
Yeah, yeah,
Sunrisers, they
yeah.
have been missing their wrist spinner, the wicket taking wrist spinner, who you can say has been a little threatening. Mayank Markande last week has performed for 2 games. One was
Mm.
Punjab, where he took 4 wickets in Hyderabad, and one against KKR, where he took 2 wickets in Kolkata. Other than that, he has been pretty predictable because he doesn't have any other variations other than the normal spin ball and the googly, right? People like Sanju Samson, Josh Butler, these kind of players, Yashashvi Jaiswal, right? RR players mostly, they have read him completely and have destroyed him in that game. Where we chased around what 215, 216 target. So yes, that's some wondering signs about Mayank Markande. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good bowling lineup. Only thing is, do we have what it takes to get the wickets in the middle order? Because you cannot use your power play bowlers again and expect them to get wickets in the middle overs.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Arun, your thoughts on the middle order. There is Klaasen in the middle order. I know he had a brilliant season last time, but your thoughts towards the Indian, middle batters in the middle order, especially Abdul Samad, because Abdul Samad hasn't really lived up to expectation. I feel he has maybe one or two good matches, but he's been pretty inconsistent in my opinion. So how do you see Abdul Samad performing this season, and do you think he will play all 14 matches?
I don't see Abdul Samad playing 14 games. Yeah, I think we've given him plenty of chances in the start of the season. We've given him around 6 or 7 games per season. It's only when he fails that we put him out, and we get him in once he does something in the next sessions. But even if he does something, he's still not really proving himself that he can be the finisher that SRH have been looking for since 2020. Right, we've given him tons of
Yeah,
chances for 4 years, but somehow that spark isn't clicking to him in this team. But
yeah,
when we release him and he goes to another team, he can find a lot of success there that he's not finding in Hyderabad. I can assure you that. I don't know, something's not
mm,
working out for Abdul Samad here, and so basically my Milord is going to look. So first of all, my top maybe 7 or 8 is going to look like this: Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma to open for me, right?
yeah,
In comes Rahul Tripathi and then Aiden Markram. Okay, Rahul Tripathi, Aiden
yeah.
Markram, and then Heinrich Klaasen at number 5, and then Shahbaz Ahmed at number 6, and then Abdul Samad
Interesting.
or Sanveer Singh at number 7, and then Washington at number 8, and then Pat Cummins at number 9. So you have a pretty
Mm,
good batting depth there, and you can use one of Natarajan or Markande as your impact players. So one of them needs to be in their lineup,
mm.
and either one of them, whoever's the impact player, they
Should
to
be
come
out.
in for Rahul Tripathi or Ada Markham or whoever it is, whoever feels tired, because most of these players, they have the bowling capabilities. We don't need to use them all, right? So
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
sub in Mayank or Natarajan for whoever you want. So that's the advantage you have. You got a good
mm,
batting depth with you. You got some good bowlers, and you got a good impact player with you. If we just don't mess up the playing 12 sheets like we did last year, I think this team is gonna look good for the first game.
yeah. It's more good. Yeah. All right, guys. Predictions for both the teams and winner. So let's start with Rahul. Your predictions for this match?
Yeah, so in my prediction, I think Kolkata Knight Riders are going to win this match. I feel Sunrisers Hyderabad, although they have a lot of really strong overseas players, I still feel like there are some holes to be exploited in the Sunrisers team, and due to that, I feel KKR can win tomorrow's match. It's also happening in, I think it's happening in Kolkata, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Eden
it's
Gardens.
happening in
Yeah, Eden
Eden
Gardens.
Garden,
Yeah.
so they have the home advantage. So I'll go with them to win the match. As far as taking the most wickets, I think Mitchell Stark is going to have a great start to this IPL. For something tells me that. So I think Stark will be
Mm,
the highest wicket taker for KKR, and then highest run scorer. I think it's going to be Philip Salt. I'm going to say Philip Salt. And with the Sunrisers
interesting.
Hyderabad, I think highest run scorer Travis Head, And highest wicket taker, I'll say Pat Cummins.
Okay, nice choices over there. Interesting choices. Varun, what about you? We know who's going to win according to you, but
So,
yeah, the
I'm gonna
predictions.
explain
Yeah,
my thought process a bit because
yeah,
Kolkata,
yeah.
Gautam
Definitely.
Gambhir has suggested the pitch curators to make it a pretty spin-friendly pitch, and I think that's where we really lack the kind of strength, right? They have some good spinners, but we might have the spinners, but we don't have those wicket-taking options, as I said before. So that's something to look at. And then you have Aiden Markram, who is looking a bit iffy against spin. You've got Rahul Tripathi, who is good in Kolkata. You have Rahul Tripathi, who's good against spin, and then you have Heinrich Klaassen. So I think the only concern is Aiden Markham and how he's gonna perform. He did well last year in 2023 in Kolkata, so that's a good sign
Yeah,
already. He has some good records in Kolkata, right? So other than
yeah.
that, I don't really see much of a problem for Sunrisers. It's only that it's going to be a slow pitch. Do we have the wicket takers for the middle overs? If we do,
Hmm.
I think it's a pretty easy sweep for Sunrisers based on the kind of quality they have.
Yep.
Um,
Yes.
but I mean, Sunrisers do have a good record in Kolkata, more than Kolkata Knight Riders, but I'm still going with Kolkata as the winners because
Okay.
we
Interesting.
have that
Yeah.
streak of losing the first one or two games in the season, right? So
Yeah.
because of that and because of the slower pitch conditions, I'm gonna with Kolkata. My predictions for the best batsman bowler for Kolkata are, again, as he said, same thing, Philip Salt for the batsman, but for the bowler I am going to go with the Varun Chakravarti. And
Good one. Good
for
one.
the
Yeah.
Sunrisers, I'm going to go with best bowler as Pat Cummins and best batsman as Aiden Markram. I think he has a point to prove. Even though I said he is weak against spin, that is where he needs to prove the
Yeah.
most. He needs to prove his worth. Is he good against that spin in Kolkata or not? So that's why I'm going with Aiden Markram.
Hmm. Very interesting. Yeah, let's ask Varun on this. Is Dew going to be a factor at the Eden Gardens in the second innings tomorrow? And it's night match
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
So yeah,
I think so.
maybe.
But I would say bat first, get the big total in. I think as you start the tournament, I would say it's better to bat first because you know what you are trying to defend more than what you're trying to chase. Because Sunrisers, in usual ways, we are not a chasing team whatsoever. We've been pretty weak in that area. So Kolkata Knight Riders, I don't think they have to worry about batting first or batting second. But for Sunrisers, the worry is if they lose the toss and bat second, it's going to be a
Hmm.
tough time for them to win the game.
Yeah. All right. My predictions. Yeah. So I'll tell the highest wicket taker for SRH. I'm going with. I think I'm going with Bowie tomorrow. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar will have a good power play in my opinion. So I'm going with Bowie. Highest run scorer. I'm gonna back Mayank Agrawal because a lot of people are not backing Mayank these days, and I want to back Mayank as well. So I just want to see him back in form. So I feel like I'm gonna back Mayank tomorrow as the highest run scorer. Yeah, for KKR perspective, highest wicket take, I'm also going with Varun's choice, Varun Chakravarti. I think he can make a big impact. He had a good season also last year in the IPL, so I'm going to go with Varun. And highest run scorer, I am going with, I think I'm going to go with Rinku. I think Rinku might score runs at the end. I feel like he can give a good finish, so I'm going to go with Rinku Singh. But yeah, I think SRH are going to win tomorrow, in my opinion. Even though they have a tendency of having a losing streak to start with in IPL, but I feel like SRH can win this match, seeing how their squad is and how their squad composition is, and they're playing 11 as well. So I feel like SRH can get to a winning start tomorrow. All right, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Rahul and Varun, for joining. So let's see tomorrow if we can do a review of both these matches and come for a Sunday preview as well. So let's see on that. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys, and do subscribe to the Sports Breakdown, like, comment, and share. And we'll come into the next video tomorrow, hopefully. So thank you so much.